Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelly. I'm so glad you guys are here. Today, I have a dupe, but I have a fail, right? Because I bought a dupe palette, this one right here. I bought this dupe palette knowing I had the original, and I can't find the original. Not only can I not find it, and I couldn't find it even when I had my non-broken ankle, now I can't go downstairs and tear things apart again to look for it. Not gonna stop me though, because now I've had this for a while, and the original, which the original is Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals. It looks very similar to this. This one's just called Neutrals. The other one is called Textured Neutrals Volume 1, and it's out of stock. Or it's out of, I mean, the company is no longer. Like, you can't buy an original, brand new Tati Textured Neutrals anymore. I have one. I don't think I gave it away. I don't know where it is. It seems strange that it wouldn't be where I thought it was. And I've looked behind stuff thinking it fell through. It's gotta be in a bag or something, because I vaguely remember packing it thinking, oh, I'll take this on this trip and it'll get me through a variety of whatever I need it for. Because it looks just like this. It looks almost identical to this. The shade names are different. The palette name is, I gotta get this off of here. Here we go. Come on. The shade names are different, but it's still the same kind of concept. We still have a row of matte, a row of sequin, what do they call it, sequin shades? Yeah. I think she calls it matte, sequin, metallics, and glitters. These ones are listed out as matte, shimmer, metallic, and glitter. Really close. They're also changed story names because each row is a different color story. So on this one you've got onyx, khaki, I don't really feel khaki, coral, tawny, ambiance, and wine. And she had cute ones like, you know, lyric and poem and, you know, different cute names that kind of felt a little bit more like an emotional draw. So I figured let's do 3 looks with this palette. I think because we can't compare it to the original, obviously that's gonna leave a big question mark until I can find my original, and then I'll come back. Who knows when that's gonna happen? It might be a year from now. I just don't know when I'm gonna be able to find the original. We're gonna use this though. After I purchased this, I don't think I've seen, I think the only video I saw on this was Tati actually reviewing this. And at the time when I saw it, I'm like, I kinda wish I would have gotten it up there first. Can't. This just is the way it's just the way it is. Okay, I'm gonna start with a rougher 32. I think I wanna do the orange coral colored one. I wanna do the wine one. And then I might come back and do this. Maybe we'll just do a combination of them, because this to me is not an entire look. Those are accent colors. Those are things to lighten things up. Same thing with this. I wouldn't usually use that as an entire look. So I might come back and mix several different rows for my last one, but I'm gonna start with the coral row, which means, sorry, I'm gonna start with the coral row, which means I'm gonna start with this darkest orange matte down here. And I'm gonna do one look on one eye, and then we'll do another look on another eye. And I didn't put any new eyeshadow primer on. I used one earlier, and I just didn't really feel like it made much of a difference, but we're gonna take this kind of out here on the outside. Little patchy. Again, that might be because of the eyeshadow primer situation. I might have to actually go in and put something in. Yeah, that's kind of dry and patchy, isn't it? Ooh, that does not look good at all. Ish. I didn't realize my eyelids were wet, but boy, that's awful. All right, we're gonna give this the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna take this off. We're gonna come in with an eyeshadow primer, and we're gonna start again, because that's not how I normally experience CColor Cosmetics eyeshadows. And just in case I mess that one up, because I mean, you guys, I'm not a professional makeup artist. Let me just make sure this eye's clean too. It's just a little micellar water. Because I'm not a professional makeup artist, I do make mistakes. The beauty about making mistakes with makeup is the shit just washes off and then you can start all over again. And I mean, can you imagine if life were that easy and you could just like get a mulligan? But you know what? On one hand, I say that, and then I think, what about all those life lessons we learned from making mistakes? I guess that's kind of the point of a mulligan, huh? Is you learn from it, right? This is the Thrive Cosmetics 360 Degree Eye Lift. It's a waterproof eyeshadow primer. One of my favorites, but it is translucent. It's not opaque at all. It's not gonna minimize the color. It's just gonna hopefully give me a good base. And I'm not gonna set it with anything because I think that does affect the color a little bit, but we're gonna have to give it a second to dry down. And for whatever reason, my eye over here, I think it's the contact, is a little irritated. Okay, it's been about a minute or so, so we're gonna try this again and going back into the same brush. We're going back into coral. We're gonna go back into this over here, and let's see if we don't get a better result this time. Fingers crossed. This will look better than it did last time. And I think it's going on better. It's still not spectacular. It's looking a little patchy, a little muddy. Maybe, you know what, but it's not as patchy. I need a clean brush, and I'm just gonna kind of blend this out here. We're gonna use a different shade at the top of this too. And that kind of wants to grip onto that base. I'm gonna take this shade right here. It's like the sequin shade, I call it a shimmer. Taking the sequin shade in Tawny. And I just have this is a Rougher 27, which is kind of a little bit more of a fluffier blending brush. On the Tati palette, it seemed like it was more like a little bit of a suspended shimmer and a matte background, so I'm kind of hoping that's the same here. I don't love that. Okay, we're gonna go in the Tawny matte. So, you know, what we want to know more than anything, is this going to be a good replacement, at least temporarily, until we find out, you know, what if Tati will ever be allowed to bring back her palette again, because it was such a good palette. I remember when I bought the original Textured Neutrals palette, I was actually in Paris, and I was in a store, and I had my alarm set for, you know, US time to be able to hop on and pick it up. It was very exciting, actually, and I was very excited when I bought it because you know, obviously it sold out right away. All right, I've got a Rougher 28, which is like a flat packer brush. I'm gonna go in with, they call it a shimmer on this side. Again, we've got that same coral row, and I'm gonna pack a little bit of this on here. See how that looks. Yeah, to me, that's not a shimmer. To me, that's again more of a satin shade, or I think what she called her sequin shade. Very, very little shimmer at all. It's not a shimmer in the lightest possible terms. Would that be a shimmer? I'm just not seeing it at all. Okay, I'm gonna flip this brush over, and I'm gonna go into the metallic and the same Tawny row, this one right here. I'm not using the glitters. I wouldn't recommend it, frankly. I didn't use the glitters in the Tati palette too, and I think those were more eye grade, eye safe. Whereas these ones, I just don't trust them, not knowing what kind of facility they were made in. And Tati brought that up to me, not to me personally, but Tati brought that up in her video of not trusting them, and I tend to agree with that. I've had bad eye glitter on my eyes before and went, oh, this is scratchy and itchy and not good. So we're gonna avoid those ones. Okay, I need to go back into that matte, the matte coral over here. For a warm eye look, okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of it down here too. Just kind of tie in the top and bottom. And I want to go into the metallic and ambiance. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that, and we'll put that right here. So I like the fact that I can kind of bounce around and pull in whatever, you know, eye look I'm trying to create. I don't love that though. I've got this Persona Cosmetics brush, which is probably one of my favorite Oliver brushes. I'm gonna go into Onyx, which is the black. I know that seems weird, but I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this black, and I'm just gonna deepen this up here a little bit. I know it's still a monochromatic look, and my hope is the black won't cover it, but it'll richen it up, and it kind of covered it. You know, it's not very often that I was hoping for a sheer black format. I should have used the brown. Okay, we're gonna go back into the first orange brush and try to blend this out a little bit more. And I'm taking this, the fluffy brush that I originally used to kind of blend, and I'm just gonna try to blend this a little bit more. Let's see if we can't get this to be more usable, more wearable. You know what, you guys? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not thrilled about this. I'm gonna take a little bit more of Onyx on just a firmer brush, and we'll just use that to kind of deepen up the lash line here. I don't know if I'm just having a bad makeup day or what the dealio, but this is not my favorite eye look that I've ever done. All right, you guys, let's put some mascara on this mess over here and see what it looks like. Where'd my mascara go? See what it looks like when we get that done. All right, you guys, there you go with my first eye look, this kind of warm, sunsetty type vibe without the pinks and purples and stuff like that. Speaking of pinks and purples, let's throw some on this side. I've got a Rephr 01, which is my favorite Rephr brush. We're gonna take the dark wine color on this side over here. And let's see how this looks. Again, a little tiny bit of patchiness. My experience with CColor, I think I've said this before, is that it does tend to be a little bit more sheerer of a formula, maybe not quite as pigmented, and sometimes that can require a little building up. I really, really wish I had my original to do a true dupe video for you guys, but I guess the point is, you know, if you missed the Tati palette, is this one good enough? I'm hoping that the answer is that it's good enough. And if you know what, I'm gonna take the same brush. I'm not gonna clean it off, but I'm gonna go into the matte here and see if I can just get a lighter shade. I do feel like, you know, if you have the original and it's now expired, is this a good replacement? I don't know. There's so many good palettes on the market. Why don't we just move on? You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm never gonna get sponsored, affiliated, endorsed, nothing like that if I keep being honest with you guys. I mean, okay, that worked, but let's try fingers this time. I'm gonna skip right down to the metallic. Sorry, I'm gonna skip right down to the metallic in this row with a finger and see how that applies. I didn't take notes on Tati's video, and it's been a couple weeks since I've watched it. So I don't remember which ones she said she really liked and thought that they were a good formula. This metallic isn't bad. I'm not really seeing any creasing, which I sometimes get on my mature eyelids with the metallic. You don't want that void where the crease is, but it seems to be applying okay. It's all right. All right, I'm gonna take this. It's her ambiance shade, but this one's they call it a shimmer. I didn't clean this finger off, so I'm now gonna make that a mess. I'm gonna put a little bit of it right over the top here. Whew, that was kind of a chunky mess. It sort of fell apart on me. I'll take a clean finger and kind of blend it in. Just like a real subtle halo look. Real subtle. All right, I'm gonna take another brush and we're gonna go into, again, this same shimmer in here, which seems to be, to me, that's my inner corner highlight. That or the matte is my inner corner highlight in this palette. I'm gonna take this up a little bit further too because it's my eye. And I can do it. All right, you guys, you know what? That's not horrible. I didn't use all the shades. I'm gonna have to do something with this one right here too. This one looks like it has almost like a blue or silver suspension over a matte background. Did that deepen it up just a little bit? Maybe a little tiny bit. I'll just drag a little of it down below. Yeah, you know what? That's okay. For a wine color look, I think I like it better than this orange one over here. It's not bad. I might have to bring this out a little bit more here. All right, let's put some mascara on. If I were to do a pink fuchsia wine colored look, would I use that? Sure. Actually, I think that performed quite a bit better. And I did use different brushes too. I mean, I still largely used Rephr brushes, but I think that turned out a little bit better than the orange one. The orange one just feels very muddy and heavy. I mean, it's a darker, smokier look, don't get me wrong. This one is a little bit more daytime appropriate, but I think if I were to do a black liner, I think it would be easy to take it to nighttime. I think it's okay. Yeah, that formula seemed to be work better for me. I'm gonna take both of these off. I'm gonna reprime my eyes. I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do something with the browns because that's how I wanna leave my day. All right, you guys, I will be right back. All right, you guys, let's see if we can finish this video up before my battery dies. So now we are taking, again, this purported dupe for Tati's textured neutrals. This is CColor Cosmetics. CColor Cosmetics, it's just called neutrals. We can't start with that shade. We're gonna have to jump over and start with this tan color. It's in their tawny row, but it's the matte in the tawny row. We're gonna do one cohesive look. And I did reprime my eyes with that Thrive 360-degree eye lift. I'm still getting patchy, you guys. I don't get it. I don't understand. I thought that had been on long enough. I put a random piece of glitter right there in my eyebrow. That's annoying. I don't know what I've done differently between the video I filmed a few minutes ago and this one, or if just this formula is not typical decent quality of ColourPop, because I think I filmed a video earlier today and I used the same eyeshadow primer. All right, that's on. I mean, it's gonna be a blending shade anyway. I'm gonna take a little bit of, I felt like Ambiance was a little too chalky and white. I'm gonna take this next one down from in the tawny row, which is called Shimmer. And even though I don't really feel like it's a shimmer, I was hoping, you know what, let's mix a little bit of it together. I'm gonna mix these two together to kind of get me a little bit of a lighter shimmer, hopefully. Not shimmer, like more of a transition-y shade. The idea is that, you know, can you get a palette to work for you? If we're not makeup artists, if we're ladies of a certain age doing the best we can with what we have, can we get a palette that we can just pick up and use? Or does it take some instructions or some finessing? I really, really, really enjoyed Tati's palette. I'm sad that it's not available, because out of the neutral palettes, that might have been one that I would have considered repurchasing once mine got old. That's just me. All right, let's take, and it's a little bit smaller of a brush here. I'm gonna now bounce into this dark shade over here in the, it says khaki. They're calling it the khaki row. This to me is not a khaki row. Kind of have to load up this brush a little bit, but let's see what that looks like. And I'm tapping it on first, which I sometimes do with super saturated shades, so that, oh my gosh, that is Patch City. What is going on? Wow. So as I was saying, I sometimes tap on shades that are super pigmented so that I can't even, oh no, that's horrible. Okay, let's try this eye just on the off chance that I had some sort of eyelid primer that didn't sit down. Let's see if this looks any better on this side. All right, that seems to be slightly smoother. We're gonna call it, maybe I didn't give my primer enough time to dry down. You guys, I'm so sorry. I am not trying to make a mess of this. I had really had high hopes that, you know, even though I can't find my original right now, I don't lose stuff, right? There's gotta be some explanation for it. I don't really lose anything. I was kind of hoping this is as good as, or good enough, then will I even, you know, miss my old one when it expires. A little bit patchy, but not as bad as this one turned out. This one's horrible. All right, I'm just kind of tapping this cotton round on it, thinking that if there is any moisture, it's gonna soak it up. This is where we practice our patch jobs, you guys. Speaking of patchy, yeah, it's not, even though you guys just saw me dry off this lid. Ugh, okay, well, we have a fix. We have a fix for any time that we get patchy mattes, and that's to put a shimmer on top. So that's what we're gonna do, because, you know, that fixes a lot of things. Will it fix this? I don't know. Let me work on blending this just a little bit more. I'm gonna work on it a little bit here, and let's just see if that doesn't fix some of this craziness. You guys, I thought it was this eye that was leaky. I don't know what to do with this. We're just gonna have to move on for now. That's not pretty. I've even switched brushes here and was kind of packing on a little bit more just to see if I can get it to be where I want it to be. I don't know that I love that. Let me find this is a dry brush here. We're gonna kind of blend this up here a little bit too, because I don't want it to be too harsh. Harsh lines, I mean, frankly, we don't need any help looking older. A lady of a certain age, we don't need that. The blend, when it's better, when it's smooth, it gives the illusion that we have younger eyes. We're gonna skip the shimmer in here and jump right down to the metallic. It feels nice on the finger. My hope is that this will go over the top of that patchy brown, and we won't notice that there's patchy brown underneath it. That's not an ideal situation, you guys. This is gonna be one of those that where, you know, your hair covers your eyeshadow most of the day to make it not so obvious that it looks like trash. Been a while since I've been disappointed with a CColor palette before. This is not a good first impression. I'm gonna have to come back on a different day and try it again. Pop over to this lighter metallic. I'm gonna put that on the inside. If my second attempt is better, or my second impression, I mean, I'm doing 3 looks with this palette. The wine colored row was my favorite so far. I wouldn't have thought it would have been hard to get brown eyeshadow formula didn't work because everybody does a neutral palette, right? But if this does not end up performing for me, or if it does, and I'm just having an off makeup day, again, I'm not sponsored, affiliated, endorsed, clearly, because I'm, you know, kind of trashing this a little bit. I don't mean to. I'm not intentionally trashing it, because like I said, I mean, I bought this with my own money. I don't want to think that I made a bad choice in purchasing a palette. And, you know, we can't get the original. I guess it's probably good that I'm not doing an actual side-by-side comparison. I think we're getting there. We're getting to the point, this seems a little weird right here. We're getting to the point where I can maybe use this, wear this eyeshadow for the rest of the day. I don't know what to do about this weird patchy situation out here though. I think because my eyes are hooded anyway, we're probably not even gonna notice. Yeah, I'm gonna notice. This is bad. And now I've been poking at my eyeball so much, I'm thinking it's just watering now. All right. I don't even know what to do. We're gonna throw a little bit of a lighter shade in the inner corner. I'm gonna use the matte this time. It seemed like it was a little on the chalky side, but let's go ahead and try that. Yeah, it's pretty chalky. I think that to me is a blending shade. You use this to mix in with one of the other ones to get a lighter version of the shade that you actually want. I kind of wish they would have put a lighter transition shade in here. I don't remember if Tati's were slightly different tone-wise, you know, same kind of color story, but different tone, so that you could make use of them. We're getting there. We're getting to somewhere where I can have it the rest of the day. We haven't used any of these over here. Might as well try this. They're calling it a shimmer shade. I'm gonna pick it up on the top of this pencil brush here. Let's see if we can't tap this onto the lid. Maybe if I get dark and smoky enough, you won't even notice the patchiness. Yeah, that might work if it dries down enough. Like, I mean, if it kind of, you know, sets in place a little bit. Something about a brown smoky eye. Yeah, aside from just a little tiny bit of a weird line out here, I'm trying, you guys, I'm trying to minimize that patchiness. Like, this eye doesn't look bad. I don't mind this at all. I would absolutely leave the house like this. This side, I'm gonna have to rely on my hair covering my eyes, and is that really what you want to do? Oof, that is not a good thing. All right. Honestly, that's probably about as good as it's gonna get today. Do I want to put on a little bit more of a lighter brown? I think I do. I'm just cleaning off that rougher 3 brush that I used with the black, which is probably gonna be too dark. And I'm gonna go into this khaki shimmer right here, which again, is not really an apt description, but we're gonna take that all the way around. Yeah, all right. So I think some of the shades are frankly not horrible, particularly that burgundy row, but if you have another burgundy palette, wine colored palette, I don't know that you need this whole big thing just for this row. The browns were a little disappointing. Some of them worked better than others. The black was okay. Actually, it was all the black, the 2 blacks that I tried were very pigmented, which is nice. The ambiance shades, which are the super light ones in the palette, they were okay. I mean, they were opaque, which can come across as chalky, but I think if you mix them, or if you want to mix them with another shade to get more of a transition shade, you have that option. I didn't try any of the glitters. I'm not going to try any of the glitters. That just seems like an accident waiting to happen. I don't need any kind of like weird eye infection. I'm supposed to go into the surgeon tomorrow to look at my ankle. I don't want to be like, hey, and while you're here, what do you think this is? That would be bad. It'd be like, hey, stop using glitter on your eyeballs. Not eyeshadow eye saved. And now, could you use it on a collarbone, on your face somewhere? You know, if you're gonna do a stencil, maybe with some glitter glue, you know, yeah, sure. I think, you know, kind of makes it fun that you've got that option. But I'm not gonna use that. All right, you guys, that's it for today's video. Kind of a little bit of a train wreck, but at least now you know. Could you get looks similar to Tati's Textured Neutrals palette? Yeah, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be like, right? Is it gonna be an exact formula dupe? No, I don't think it's a formula dupe, but I think it's good enough. Again, this was my favorite row. This one is almost necessary along with these mattes. I didn't care for the orange rows. This wasn't bad. This kind of copper metallic in here. It's not horrible. Yeah, that's pretty. In fact, let's do that. Let's swatch some of these metallics in here, because I think these are the best formula. Wow, that almost looks like the same shade. Just a hair lighter. That's Coral next to Tawny. I'm gonna jump over and do the Wine row. Yeah, that's a pretty shade. That almost, I would almost say that you could put this on top of one of the other ones and give you kind of a little bit of a duochrome look. And let's try the one in the khaki shade, or khaki row. Yeah, these almost look the same. I think that one would be the shade that I would use maybe all over my lid. Let's try something really fast. Let's take that next to the khaki shimmer. I'm using the same finger that I used. They feel a little drier, but I'm taking that right next to that one. Ooh, and we've got clumpy. Ooh, no, that's not good. Yeah, that wasn't spectacular. All right, the only one I'm really more kind of curious about too is this, the dark row, onyx row, the metallic in here. I'm just gonna swatch it this way. All right, Chunkville Bagginses is what my husband would probably call that. Interesting. All right, we've got one more we haven't used yet. That's the one from Ambiance. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that, and that here barely showed up. How is that even possible? Yeah, that's such a light champagne color that barely shows up. These are my swatches. Not spectacular. Little disappointed. This right here is so chunky. The Wine is the best one. This is too big of a palette to get for just that row. Don't do that. All right, you guys, I hope this helped you guys in some way. If you were on the fence, I know a lot of you guys knew that I had this palette and that I was going to review it. I've had it for a few months now, and I've given up on trying to find my original one. I haven't given up. It's around here somewhere. Everything is so freaking chaotic right now with this broken ankle, and I just feel like I can't get control over stuff. But anyway, is this okay? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to mess up a smoky brown eyeshadow. I was able to pull it off. I'm glad I didn't give up, because I think that it turned out enough that I'll be fine the rest of the day. Anyway, that's it for this, you guys. Tell me, were you gonna buy this palette? Was this something that, you know, you were dying to add to your collection? This particular one, not the original. What do you think? Are you gonna pick it up? Are you gonna skip it? We're just gonna mourn the loss of Tati and wait for the next goodest thing. All right, you guys. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing really well, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.